Hello, hello. This is your host, Angie. I was wanting to share some things with you that I intuitively picked up today, and it kind of goes along with what you're going to find in my book when it gets released. And I'm not 100% sure when that is, maybe later this month, hopefully. But just be watching for that. The book is called Leaf Lessons. And so it's based off of a vision I had back in 2004 of a leaf. And I'll let you I'll let you read the book to kind of get more of an insight of what that actually was. But so the actual title is Leaf Lessons: When Trauma and Religion Collide, the Process of Spiritual Awakening and Healing. And so I do encourage you to look for that as it comes out, because I think it's going to have a lot of stuff in there that helps people with their mindset and moving away from programmed mindset and beliefs, and that you either get just in life in general or from religion, kind of what I'm talking about. And one of the things that popped in my head today, so I just had this I love to hike. I just absolutely I love to be in nature. And today I just couldn't I did not want to go hiking. It's super weird for me not to go hiking, but I wanted to be outside because it's super nice out. And I really wanted to walk. I just had this urge to walk. So I went to a paved trail here in town and walked a little over 3 miles. And on this trail, there's bikers and people that walk, and runners, and you'll see all kinds of people on this trail. It's pretty popular here in where I live. And one of the things that people will do, if they're running or riding a bike and they're passing somebody that's walking, is they will say on your left or on your right, just to warn people as they come up on them to avoid hitting them. And I had this weird thought today. It's been raining here for I don't know, a whole week, it feels like. But today's the first day, it's actually sunny and nice out, but there's still a lot of water, puddles and stuff in some of the areas on the trail and on the even the paved part. And so you kind of have to walk around that. And I had this weird thought pop in my head as I was walking, because some of the trail, if I were to only be on one side, then somebody would go through the puddle and splash me or something. And one of the things I wrote in my book about is the programming of our mind on how we feel we have to follow, and how humans tend to follow without questioning. We just tend to oh, this is what this says, and so this is what I have to do. And there is absolutely a reason for a lot of that. There's an absolute reason to have stop signs, to have traffic lights. There's a reason people have, here in our state, we're required to wear seat belts. There's a reason for, the order of not harming another human. There's an order to life that we should follow, and just to respect each other and to keep each other safe. And, it's just a loving thing to do. And the crazy thing is we add those really good rules, basically, to everything in our life. And we don't even really always know that. Sometimes it's just an automatic response because our mind has been trained to think in a certain way. And today, as I was walking, and I, walked by this big puddle and realized that if a bike were to pass me right now, I would be soaked. And then I looked around, and this trail is surrounded by field. Like, there's trees and this huge field, and there's like clearly other places to walk or, to be. And so I I had this epiphany of my need to be on the pavement because it was there. This is where the trail is. This is where somebody decided the trail would be. This is where they made the pavement. They put the concrete down. This is how they said the trail would go around the city. And then, as other people are on the trail, this is how you pass somebody, or this is what this is how you do it. And the reality of it is, like, there is wide open space. And somebody decided at one point that was where you're supposed to walk. And there are a few people that might be like playing, like there's like that frisbee golf thing out there, and there's some other things you can do out in the field. And there's people out there doing it, but the people that are walking rarely get off of this trail. And the reality of it is, I can move off the trail to stay safe. Like, I don't have to stay on this trail to walk. But because my mind was programmed that this is where I'm supposed to be and this is where I'm supposed to walk, I stayed on it. But I did not have to do that. Like, say a bike did come up and was going to splash me. I absolutely have a wide open space that I could have walked in, stepped off the trail, and walked in the grass. Just a simple step to the left or right would have put me in safety, or would have taken me into a different perspective of walking. And it just dawned on me as I had this come to my mind, like a year or a little over a year ago, I was writing my journal, and I just saw this the other day when I picked it up. And I have these weird thoughts all the time that come to my mind, but one of them that day, I had drew a heart in my journal. And then underneath the heart, I wrote, "Who decided that this is a heart? Why is this a heart and not a circle? Why is this a heart, not a square? Why did somebody label the heart as a heart?" And all of us will look at that shape and say, that's a heart. And if I were to tell you that's a square, you absolutely would argue me and tell me that I'm completely crazy for thinking that. But I want you to know that even though these are like facts within our culture, like, we cannot change a heart at this point. I mean, I'm sure somebody could try and, but the heart's not harming anybody. The puddle wasn't harming me on the trail. There's things that are in place for purpose. But there's a lot of things in life that we just do just because we were trained to do it. Our mind was trained to think in a certain way. And when it gets challenged or rubbed up against a little bit, and it starts to like feel like it doesn't align with what you believe, you can become irritated or aggressive or want to defend your point of view. And religion is a lot like this. If you look at religion, there's multiple religions. If you just look at the church in America, just in America, how many different denominations are there? And who decided that this is what they believe? So you could go from, a Pentecostal church to a Lutheran church to a Catholic church, to a Baptist church, to a Nazarene church, to Protestant, like all these things based on what someone believed to be true. And then other people got in line behind that to believe that as well. And rarely do we question it. Now, there's a few of us that will be like, I don't agree with that, so I'm going to go this direction. But who told us that? Who told us to believe that? Who decided what direction? Are you doing that because you decided or because somebody taught you that? And somebody said that to you at some point in your life and it just came into your awareness and you made it a part of your belief system and what you embody. So when I talk about leaving religion to moving into woohoo, this is what I'm talking about. Even my understanding of the woohoo world comes from other people's understanding. And one of the things I found interesting when I was writing my book, when I was still in the process of writing my book, like I would be given like all these books to read. Like I love reading. And so like even my therapist was like, read this book. And, and a lot of it was around, spirituality and spirit guides and intuitive things and psychic and kind of like, how the earth, 3D, 5D kind of stuff. And as I was writing my book, each time I would pick up one of those to read it, I felt in my body a response. And I started to really listen to that response instead of pushing it down. And the response was, don't read this right now. You're in the middle of creating something and we want you to create it directly out of the knowing of your spirit. So I literally put down everything else while I was creating this, book, writing this book, so I can go completely inward and only hear from my intuition, only hear from my spirit guides, only hear from the divine love. And that's where this book came from. It did not come from the beliefs or thoughts of anyone else outside of my own intuition. And the reason I bring this up today is because a lot of us have lost that gifting and ability to really tune into what is inside of us. What is our own intuition saying? And so as we reprogram our mind, one of the really key things to do is to become quiet and to move everything out of the way that you've been taught and programmed to believe and really, really get to know yourself, your spirit, and learn how to listen. And as you do, it's an interesting process to understand and learn what you then create inside of yourself to be truth. Because some of it doesn't always line up with things that you might have brought on because of other things or other people's beliefs or programming. So what I would like to encourage you to do for the rest of the day or whenever this week is when you have a thought, stop and think, is this coming from truth of myself, of who I truly am? Or is this a belief that I have because somebody told me I should believe it? And I'm walking on this trail trying to avoid being splashed when all I have to do is take a step to the left or right and follow my own intuition. I send you all the best and the most love. And I wish you the best day or night, whatever time it is. Namaste.